Good morning, everyone. Today we have gathered here to observe the closing ceremony of Vigilance Awareness Week Program 2025. The Central Vigilance Commission observes Vigilance Awareness Week every year in the week in which the birthday of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel falls. This year, the Commission has decided the Vigilance Awareness Week 2025 would be observed from 27 October 2025 to 2nd November 2025 on the following theme: Vigilance, our shared responsibility. Vigilance is a state of being watchful and alert, always ready to detect and respond to potential threats or damages. Let's cultivate vigilance in our daily lives and create a safer, more secure environment for everyone. Now we'll start today's event by lighting of the lamp. Now, Professor Preeti Parashar, part-time Chief Vigilance Officer ISI, will present the welcome address. We will request our dignitaries and guests to please come on the stage.
Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to welcome you all present here and those who have joined online to the closing ceremony of the Vigilance Awareness Week 2025 at the Indian Statistical Institute. The chief guest for today's program is Sri Harsimran Singh, Chief Vigilance Officer, Hindustan Copper Limited, which comes under the aegis of Ministry of Mines, Government of India. He belongs to the Indian Railway Service of Engineers and has expertise in implementation of various kinds of infrastructure projects of the railways. He has held several important positions, including Chief Engineer Construction, Southeastern Railway, and Chief Project Manager, Rail Vikas Nigam Limited, Kolkata. You'll be happy to know that Sri Singh has headed metro projects in our own city and had also commissioned the elevated metro line from Joka to Majarhat. And this morning I came to know that he was also heading the Dakshineshwar metro. I would like to express my gratitude to Sri Singh for accepting our invitation and extend a very warm welcome to him. Our guest of honor today is Sri Partha, Vigilance Officer at the Variable Energy Cyclotron Center, Kolkata, which comes under the aegis of Department of Atomic Energy, Government of India. He is a senior scientific officer and has the general computing, network infrastructure, and telecom section at VECC. I am deeply obliged to him for his valuable time and heartily welcome him to this event. It's a matter of great pleasure that our director, Professor Sangamitra Bandyopadhyay, is here with us to grace the occasion. A warm welcome is also extended to Sri Ravinder Kumar, Chief Executive, Administration and Finance, ISI. As you know, every year, the Vigilance Awareness Week is observed to promote integrity and transparency in public life. This serves as a reminder that fighting corruption and maintaining honesty is certainly not a one-time event, but a continuous effort and perseverance. This year, Vigilance Awareness Week was observed from 27th October to 2nd November with the theme Vigilance, Our Shared Responsibility. It commenced with the Integrity Pledge, which unequivocally reflects a deep commitment to prevent corruption and wrongdoings, thereby inculcating a sense of moral values and righteousness. However, it must be recognized that vigilance is not the duty of just a few officials or organizations alone. It is indeed the shared responsibility of every citizen. In order for the entire system to become more strong and more transparent, it is imperative that each one of us becomes aware of the shared responsibility. Our guests will enlighten us more on this by sharing their views. Once again, a very warm welcome to all. Thank you.
Now, we would felicitate our guests and dignitaries for today's event. I would love to invite Director Ma'am and Preeti Ma'am to please grace the occasion.
you very much for coming.
We will request Professor Shambhamitra Bandhopadhyay, Officiating Director ISI, to address the audience.
Shri Harsimran Singh, CVO of Hindustan Copper Limited, Shri Partho Dhara, Vigilance Officer of WEC, Kolkata, the part-time Chief Vigilance Officer of ISI, Preeti Parashar, and Ravinder Kumar, our Chief Executive. We are today meeting here to conclude the Vigilance Awareness Week, which was celebrated all over the country and also in ISI. First of all, I would like to thank Professor Preeti Parashar that she has organized this event, and also Shalini, I can't see her here. Oh, yeah, there. Yes, for organizing this event and for today's program, and also for holding this important office, which is like a watchdog for the institution. So this office of Vigilance Officer, of the vigilance of the institute, that has to keep track of whatever is happening, not for fault finding, but to see that things are properly followed. And also, as I was discussing today morning with our guest here, that old institutions often worked more on trust, on advocism. I mean, there was very few policies, but more and more we face problems, we face complaints, more and more we also become very streamlined, which is a good thing to happen. But at the same time, we have to make sure that the merit that this institution, an institution like ours, is known for, that merit does not get tied up in hundreds and hundreds of rules and regulations, but that there is enough space for individual excellence to flourish. And that is what I think all in the administration we have to make sure, and also the vigilance officer has to make sure that vigilance does not lead to throttling of innovation, throttling of new activities. But at the same time, things are properly followed. There is no corruption. Corruption is not allowed to breed. That is very important. And also, sometimes vigilance has been a little handled differently, in the sense that grievance turns into vigilance. So one must also, while filing a vigilance complaint, be aware of what is a grievance and what indeed is a vigilance. So that, with vigilance complaints, a lot of time of different officials get engaged, so that we can really differentiate what is what and where to put our grievance and where to put our complaints, which has vigilance angles to it. With these few words, I welcome our two guests to the Institute. I hope this is not just a one-off event, but it is going to be a start of a more longer collaboration, because often we need to exchange notes of how things are handled in your institution. We can learn from your best practices, and similarly, our best practices others can adopt. So I hope and wish that our relationship is just a start of that relationship, and we will be in touch in future. Thank you for sparing your time and coming here and addressing this gathering here. Thanks once again to the Chief Executive and also to our Chief Vigilance Officer for handling this important office. And thanks to all of you for taking time off and attending this program, this very important program, because all of us, it is not a single person's or a single officer's responsibility. It is all our responsibilities to be, first of all, honest in whatever we do, and also see that things are happening honestly around us. At the same time, we have to protect the excellence that institutions like ours is known for. Thank you very much.
Now, Sri Harsimran Singh, Chief Vigilance Officer, Hindustan Copper Limited, and our chief guest of today's event, will share his thoughtful words with the presentation.
Respected Madam Sanghmitra, Director of Indian Statistical Institute, Madam Preeti Parashar, part-time CBO of the Institute, a guest from VECC, and the CEO of the Institute, and all the officials present here. A very good morning to all. It's indeed an honor for me to be here amongst you in this Institute of national importance. And the moment I entered here, it gives a very good feeling that you are entering a historic place, which has been having lot of involvement in the planning and development of our country. The institute had been associated with the Planning Commission and is still one of the important institutes which is providing the required data so that proper decisions can be taken by the government. And as we know that everything has two aspects. As Benjamin Disraeli had told that there are lies, there are diamond lies, and there is statistics. So if we don't deal with the statistics properly, that can also lead to problems. So the institute has a lot of onus in ensuring that the statistics which they present is really foolproof. There is no bias, because in the today's times when AI is so much there around us, and if the AI through machine language doesn't get the proper statistics, there can be a lot of bias, and that will not be good for the society, for the world, and obviously for our country. So with that note, I would just start with a presentation. I was advised that I present something, so yesterday I made something. Hope you would like how to handle it. Next topic. It's not going to be boring. We'll find some interesting facts. And as it's a statistical institute, you are convinced only when good statistics are available. So I would try to give some good statistics. But before that, we need to introspect why we are all observing this Vigilance Awareness Week. See, if we have ancient history and since times immemorial, we had been having these ethical values. Our Vedas had the philosophy where we used to explore how to live ethically, how to align with the divine with righteous conduct. There are about 6 to 7 basic core concepts of the Vedas, and the 3 of these I have mentioned here. You see, the dharma is nothing but righteous duty, ethics. Dharma is basically, if you translate it, comes out to be ethics only. Then Satya, we had been telling our kids since ancient times that don't tell lies. So truthfulness is there. And the Shraddha, that we should have faith, we should not do any bad to anybody. Then the Upanishads came. They also talked about self-realization and to remain detached and do the duty, be compassionate. Then Bhagavad Gita came. It also told about to act in ethical ways and observe dharma. Then Guru Granth Sahib I have mentioned here. It also talks about seva, the selfless service, honesty and equality. And if we go beyond our borders, Bible was compiled in 73 books in the 4th century. And it also talks about moral and ethical framework. And Jesus had also pointed out that love the Lord and love your neighbor. So he's also saying that we should be compassionate to our neighbor. We should deal with the other person as we deal with ourselves. Quran Sharif also teaches integrity, compassion. So all these things are there, and still we are having so much requirement of telling people that we should remain vigilant. This is a place near to Dakshineshwar where Swami Vivekananda was taught by his guru, Swami Paramahansa. He had the philosophy to be good and to be good and to good to others. And selfishness or greed, as per him, was the greatest sin. So he also told about these things only. So if we imbibe all these principles in our lives, in our daily business processes, in our office work, in our society, then obviously we will have a good society, good country, and we will have sustainability of our processes. Your motto is also unity in diversity. You have to, you try to observe this through your statistics. And you also have your ethical committee. Every institute has code of ethics and the code of disciplinary rules. So if we are following the code of ethics, there will not be any requirement of going and reading those code of conduct. But what ethics is? Ethics is basically introspection of what is right and wrong. We should ask ourselves if we are doing something, whether it is right or it's wrong. And so many ethical values have been compiled in our ancient books also, and in modern times also, and those we have tried to highlight here, that we should respect others' rights, we should do justice, we should be fair in treatment to others, we should allocate our resources equally amongst the society, we should be beneficent, there should not be any malfeasance. In fact, in vigilance, whenever some case comes, we have to ask ourselves whether there is any malafide intent or it's bona fide. So that's all is ethics. And then there comes honesty, and which the most important, which I feel, is integrity. If we have got integrity, I think all other things will be taken care of themselves. So what integrity is? C.S. Lewis had defined it very aptly, that integrity is doing the right thing when nobody is watching. When we are alone in our office, if we are alone in a room and still we are doing only the right thing and we are true to ourselves, that is integrity. So we have this balance which shows that right and wrong are there, and we have to see that right is always more. And when we work in our offices and wherever in the organization we are there, we always find this contradiction that somebody is doing nothing and he doesn't get any displeasure, and we have got very hardworking people. So as vigilance officers or as controlling officers, we have to ensure that the people with integrity who are doing their duty dutifully, they may sometimes get into some trouble. They may not be able to follow some small rule. So we have to be compassionate with them, and we have to take care that we don't have these kind of honest people who are not writing anything in the file and they find that nobody is going to touch them. So, like government has also now started going ahead with this rule 56J. So earlier it was not being followed, but in the present government they have started following to take care of these kind of honest people. So this dichotomy is there, and we have to take care of this. Now, so many challenges are there in front of us. We are envisioning that we have to become Viksit Bharat, but so many challenges are there, and the challenges are there due to poor infrastructure, because of humongous population, and which all are leading to the shortcuts in the form of bribery. You see, so many pain points are there in our country. We had, since even after independence, we had faced so many scams, starting from buffer scam and to the one of the largest was this coal allocation scam. But gradually the government is not trying to make such rules and regulations and processes that there is more transparency, and as the digitalization increases, transparency obviously increases, and that is going to help us in dealing with these things. And so hopefully there will be good change. I was reading through some literature, and I found that in one of the newspapers that in January this year, the Honorable Prime Minister was also pained, and he called the meeting of Ministry of Road and Transport that so much expenditure is being done, and still we are having so many issues with our road transport, which gets one of the largest capital expenditure. And they pointed out that there were issues related to, there were systemic issues. A lot of subcontracting was being done. If contract is awarded to one person, but actually the other person is working without any control over him. And our DPRs, means our planning is poor. Means we are not spending much time in finding good data. And just in a hurry, we are doing planning and we are going ahead with the contracting. And one of the worst things in our infrastructure last year was that the month of June became the month of collapses. In fact, there were 9 bridges which collapsed in 1 month in just one state. These 5 bridges collapsed in 9 days, and 4 of these were under construction. They were not even built and they have collapsed. So there is a big thing which we require to introspect. And you see in our our modern airports also 2 roofs had collapsed, and in one of the roof collapses in Delhi, one person in the car had also expired. So, but this year also there was not much good. Honorable Prime Minister pointed out in the month of January, and still again in July in Gujarat itself, one bridge had collapsed. Then in the month of November itself, again one bridge collapsed in Bihar. So there is something very shocking, and we have to see what problems are there. One of the problems which I feel is that obviously there are issues related to corruption leading because of unethical practices. But one more big aspect here is that we don't have skilled people. Indian Railways had written to the Ministry of Education that please start teaching how to build bridges, because we don't have good people, good consultants who can design good bridges. And because of now our size of bridges is increasing, we are building kilometers of length of bridges. Mega bridges require good people to design and maintain. And then they wrote to IITs and NITs, and I was happy that in IIT Jodhpur they have started now one course on bridge engineering itself. For realizing our vision of becoming Viksit, we need a lot of capital expenditure, and gradually we are increasing, and this year's our capital expenditure is targeted to be more than 11 lakh crore. And I'm sure that this expenditure will be done, but we have to see that expenditure is done in a way that it is fruitfully utilized. It doesn't go waste. We will see why we are talking that such expenditure goes waste. In the next few slides, we will see that. But before that, let's first see the quantum of work we have to do to become Viksit. We are already 4 trillion economy. By 27, hopefully we will be 5 trillion economy. But our target is to become 30 trillion by 2047 in next 22 years, which requires 7 to 8% growth. We are slightly less than 7 at present. If we have to become developed, we should have a high standard of living, so high income. Our income per capita is, our GDP per capita is only $2,870. We have to become around 18,000. And a good developed country has good infrastructure. Basically, transport infrastructure should be perfect. So we should have 2 to 3-fold increase in the speed of intercity transport. So we should have more and more semi-high speed trains and high speed trains. And our expressways are at present only 4,000 kilometers. And we have to increase these to 32,000 kilometers. At present, around 11,000 kilometers are already under construction. You see this basic, very small thing, our passenger trains, you take a ticket and you will always have waiting list. So we have to eliminate this, and this is not a small task. So this is also one of the Viksit Bharat targets of Ministry of Railways. And then our freight traffic has to become 10,000 million tons from railways as well as for our ports. Because if more faster the freight will move, the faster the country will grow. At present, we are about 4th largest network in the world with 0.69 lakh route kilometers. We have to increase it to 1 lakh kilometer. So it's nearly doubling. So it requires in a very, very big investment. We are building 14 kilometers of railways per day. We have to increase it to 40 kilometers per day. that will increase the share to 26 to from 26 to 45%. And this is required if we have to become developed. All good countries have got very larger share of railway transport because that is more sustainable, environmentally friendly. Our metros are only 1,000 kilometers in 23 cities. We have to increase it to 5 times in 75 cities. We have to increase the number, double the number of airports. All our cities have to be smart cities. We are seeing our cities get flooded with a small rainfall. It may be any city, it may be Delhi, not only Calcutta, Delhi, Bangalore, every city gets submerged in the monsoon. So we have to see that our cities are resilient, they are smart, they are integrated, command centers are there, climate resilient, not getting flooded. And our green energy has to be, at present we have got 250 gigawatt of green energy, we have to double in next 5 years. And by 2047, we have to have at least 1800 gigawatt of green energy. And our BharatNet has to reach every village. So this is a very big vision. And at least we have started realizing that we can also become developed. This is the good thing about the Honorable Prime Minister. At least he is trying to give this idea that you can also develop. But we have to realize that, and for that we have to work in all the fronts. And educational institutes and all our industry, the government, they have to come up together. Without the collaboration of this trinity of academia, industry and government, nothing can happen. And we have to see that we do such reforms that from the government side that we fast track our development. And at the same time, we have to see that our human capital that is skilled enough and that is having the ethical values. But let's see before that where we are compared to the world. So I have brought out some statistics here. You see this US is around $30 trillion economy. China is $19 trillion. Germany is 4.74, and next year, in next 2 years, we will be able to cross Germany and become the third largest. But here you see in the red, we can see our rank in GDP per capita is only 138. So we have to work on that. We have to see that our big population is utilized in the proper manner, so that this figure increases. If we increase the productivity, this rank can obviously, then only this rank will be becoming good. Now this is another statistics which shows that what are the high income countries. In the right hand side, you see in the red we have given the large economies which we just now saw: US, China, Germany, Japan, India, UK and Canada. Most of these countries which are large economies, they are also having high income, unlike India. And at the bottom we have got these red color figures. Just had a glass see. Most of these are Nordic countries, Denmark, Holland, Finland, and some other countries, New Zealand, Iceland. These have got very high rank of in income. Basically, a high income country is that which has per present definition, where GNI per capita is $13,935. GNI means gross national income. It's the income of the citizens of the country, whether they are abroad or in the country. This is all of you must have heard about this corruption perception index. It's basically brought out by Transparency International. They take data from about 180 countries. There are about 193 countries, and from 180 countries they take the data and they give them score from 0 to 100. The better the number, the higher is the transparency of that country. Now here you see those countries which we just now pointed out: Denmark, Finland, New Zealand, Norway, Switzerland, Sweden. These were the countries which had very high income. And here also they are always the toppers in this transparency. And where we stand, let's see. See the dark blue colors, those are the Nordic countries which we just now pointed out. Then New Zealand at the bottom, and Singapore is there, Japan is there, Canada is there. And we are 96th with index of 48. We are orange in color. So we have to somehow work on ourselves to become that at least light blue, if not dark blue color. But the worst thing is that our rank is going down. At present, we are 96 and we were earlier 93rd. From 39, we have gone down to 38. And figure around 40 is, below 40 is considered bad. So we should immediately try to cross this 40 mark in next 2-3 years. Then only we will be moving in a transparent manner and utilizing our massive investment in better way. Another index is this Human Development Index, which is the geometric mean of health, education, and income. Here also we see those countries: Norway, Denmark, Sweden, Switzerland, and they are doing quite good. They are the top 5 rankers, and we are only 134th. So in transparency, we were 96, and here we have even much worse. We are at 134th. So there is something we have to do. We have to work on our health of our people so that they are more productive. They are able to give good manpower hours. They are good. They have got good education. They are skilled. They build good infrastructure which doesn't fall, which is maintained well, and they have good income. And if they have good health and education, obviously the income will automatically increase. And this all requires, as we have seen the correlation with the CPI, that they have to have ethical values, because without ethical values, these 3 things cannot be achieved. So we have to have best quality of design consultants, best quality of people who are good, maintaining good infrastructure and maintaining it well. We should have best processes, method, equipment handled by the best manpower. And for that, we have to work on the ethical values of integrity, hard work, sincerity, and skills and knowledge of our people. Here, the family has to come forward, the institute has to come forward, the organization has to come forward. And why it is so important? Now, here we can see that world over, the 15 to 30% of GDP is nothing but public procurement. Public procurement means where the government is procuring, where the investments are done by the government in the infrastructure creation, in social service sector. And world over, 10 to 25% of this public procurement is just wasted because of corruption. So if we are spending 11 lakh crore in a year, and a massive amount of that will be wasted. In our country, earlier it used to be 18%. Now, this year I heard CBC was saying that 25% of GDP of our country is public procurement, because massive investment is being done, and 75% of these are works in the form of infrastructure works which we are doing. Procurement of goods, it includes the procurement of even computer if you procure for your institute, and the services in the form of manpower and consultancy services also. So it's a very big figure, and we have to be very cautious. For that, rules and procedures have been brought out by the government. For your website also, I saw that you are following the GFR 2017. That is the basic thing which every government organization has to follow. But apart from that, you should also follow the manuals of procurement of works, goods, consultancy, and other services. I saw some of your tenders, and I myself feel that you need to follow these. I think you are not following these, and these should be there in your website also. And the various other things which are government's policies which are brought out from time to time, we have to follow all those things. And what's the hierarchy we have to follow as an government organization? First, we have to see that whenever we are procuring something, we are not contradicting with anything mentioned in the Constitution of India or the acts passed by the Parliament. All the rules and regulations of the Government of India are followed, which basically include general financial rules. It's a booklet. It had come up early, and latest version available is 2017. And the delegation of financial powers for which orders are issued by government. And then your own codes and manuals. But those codes and manuals should be aligned to the manuals issued by the Ministry of Finance, which I just now pointed out. They have recently, in 2024, they have updated their procurement manual of procurement of goods. Basically, you are involved in procurement of goods only and services, works you are not doing. And this year they have published a manual for procurement of services which are separate for consultancy and non-consultancy. These three manuals you should follow, because all the earlier there used to be many guidelines brought out by many organizations and separately by CBC. Now they have they have made it a practice that Ministry of Finance will bring out manual for procurement, which will have all the guidelines. No other guidelines will be issued by separate departments. So if that is followed, then if that manual is followed, automatically all the guidelines of the government will be followed, and they have tried to improve the processes and give more delegation. And when we are doing any procurement, we have to see that we are following the 5 R's. If these 5 R's are followed, whatever you do, that will be fine. Like we should procure the right quantity, in the right quality, with the right reasonable price, at the right time, and from the right source. Right time means when we require, that thing should be available with us. If we require a computer lab, that should be available now. If that comes after 2 years, that will be of no use to us. Just to give an idea of our one of the steps of becoming Viksit, we have got 2 large projects going on in the country. Second largest is this Delhi-Mumbai Expressway. It's a 1 lakh crore project, which started in 2019, and in 2023 it was targeted to be completed, but because of COVID and other things, it has slightly slipped. But still, it is quite good. Honorable Minister of Transport had mentioned in the Parliament that 756 out of 1300 kilometers is already completed, and work and substantially about 1156 was completed, and 756 was commissioned itself. And he had also mentioned that we are likely to complete the project in time. Normally, we see that in our country, the projects slip for years and years, decades. And when they complete, the cost of completion becomes 20, 30, 40 times the investment which they had planned. In fact, in 2018, I was during a program, I was assigned to one project to find out how the project is completed in Indian Railways. And it was very hard to find any, and finally I found one project in Bangalore, and that had also become 20 to about 15 times its original cost, and it had taken, rather than 4 or 5 years, it had taken more than 20 years to complete. but at least that was completed. Here, if we complete 1 lakh crore project more or less in time and within the cost, nothing like that, it means the systems of monitoring is perfect, and if these things happen, then only we will be able to realize. And how they made it happen, they utilized the technology. This is the first largest project in the country where they used digital technology, used AI, and they had this 5D BIM concept. Earlier, we used to just check what will be the status of the project at certain point of time. Now they also started using fifth dimension. What will be the cost of the project at that point of time? So they control the budget and outlay, and they were able to complete. And the largest project in the country, which is at present going on, is Bullet Train project, the famous project which all of us have heard. It's a 508-kilometer long project where the trains will be running at 320 kmph operating speed, and that will reduce the time between Ahmedabad to Mumbai from 7 to 2 hours. Here also substantial work has been completed, but they have not properly fully utilized this 5D BIM, and their cost from 1.08 lakh crore has already increased to about 1.6 lakh crore. I personally feel that if they had used this 5D BIM, they would have controlled their cost also. But it has suffered a lot because of geopolitical issues also. And that's where we have now to focus, because the world is, earlier we used to talk about globalization, now everybody is talking about protectionism. Trade wars are there, China, US, and all other countries, they are trying to protect their interests. And because of that, we have suffered here also. You see, there are two kinds of tunnels. On the right hand side, we have got a tunnel which is built without tunnel boring machine. And on the left hand side, we have got tunnel which is built with tunnel boring machine. This tunnel boring machine, I think, has yet to arrive. It was ready in China last year. More than 1 year ago, it was ready for dispatch. But because of geopolitical issues, they didn't dispatch when Honorable Prime Minister now went there. I think they have now resolved the issue and it will come. Because no country wants now that the other country should prosper. And if that doesn't come, this size of tunnel is very difficult to be built without tunnel boring machine. About 14 kilometers out of, I think about 16 kilometers they have to build with tunnel boring machine, and 5 kilometers without that. This is manually they have already completed this tunnel. I went there and this was more or less ready, and now it's completed the manual part, but the tunnel boring machine is yet to be used. So we have to see that our country has got strength enough. We are able to manufacture things ourselves. High-tech things we are able to manufacture. And now every procurement, now for we have to spend huge amount. The amount has to be spent through public procurement. There will be contracts, and we have to see that our contracts are also handled properly. Last month, as CBO, I am supposed to inspect various projects and then see how the contracts are being dealt. So I was finding many small issues in various contracts, and then I made one contract health summary chart last month. And I could see I made out 5 points which are very helpful tools for every person, every government servant at least, and private person also. Whenever some small contract is awarded, if we list out these 8 things and we will give them score, we'll be able to handle it properly. Like first of all, we give letter of award to the party. If they acknowledge it timely, we should assign them one mark. They are many times required to submit performance security. If they submit in time, we should award them 1 mark. If they have to commence their delivery, if they do it timely, we should give them 1 mark. If they do complete the delivery in time, we should give them 1 mark. If our estimated value was say X and accepted value was much more than X or much below X, then that is not a very healthy contract. So they should be given less than 1 mark. And finally, if the contract gets concluded without introduction of new items and excessive variation, we can give them 1 mark. And if there are disputes and those are resolved, if they get resolved, we should give them 1. If they are not getting resolved, we should give lesser mark. And if we impose some penalty to them, which we call in terms of contract as liquidated damage, then we should give less mark. It's just developed by me during my various interactions with various contract holding issues. Because since during all my entire tenure of 23 years, I have been dealing with contracts only. So I find that this can be a useful tool. And one more thing is, if penalty is imposed and that is not deleted, that is considered as a vigilance anger. We should avoid these things. This was something which, as procurement officer, many times everybody is required to procure something, so they can use this. Now we come to ethics in our business processes. Business is an economic activity where there is some demand, there is supply, where there is production and consumption. So any organization deals with business. We are also dealing with business. So our businesses should have these ethical values. Obviously, there should be integrity. There should be transparency. Accountability should be there. Everybody should be accountable for whatever he is doing. There should be fairness and justice. We should see everybody with the same eye. We should not deal differently with different people. We should respect human rights. We should respect every employee and every stakeholder. And if we are having a profit organization, then we have to share that profit as corporate social responsibility. Every public sector undertaking has to spend about 3% of their profit as corporate social responsibility. And obviously, we have to follow all the laws and laws of the land. And if we follow these, then there will be trust. Trust will be built with the various stakeholders. And if the organization will be trustworthy, its people will also be loyal to the organization. Their morale will always be high. They will try to achieve the targets of the organization. And transparency will also reduce the legal risks. If you are following the rules and procedures, obviously you will not fall into any legal trap. Your reputation will remain high. We always say Tatas have high reputation because they are they are following more ethical values. Their reputation has also become like that. And if we are having ethical practices, in the long term, we will always be profitable. Just to give you idea of how these ethics have come into they have become part of studies also now. Maybe you may also be having some course on ethics and philosophy here in your institute also. But even now, IIMs also have started focusing on ethics, because without ethics, the organizations are falling. During your lifetime, you must have heard about Enron. There used to be a company in 90s called Enron, a very big multinational organization. They were basically involved in energy, and they also were diversifying into communications. Their auditor, Arthur and Anderson, they did some collusion with the other stakeholders, and because of those unethical practices, the company didn't survive. Its share was more than $90. $90 then also used to be a big amount. And now I think it will be maybe about 20,000-30,000 rupees. And in just 1 year, or we can say in just 1 year only, the share price went below US dollar 1 and it filed for bankruptcy, and $40,000 were the lawsuit of the shareholders, and they got only $7.2 billion after long struggle. So this incident opened the eyes of the people around the world that there is requirement of transparency and corporate governance. And on the other hand, there is another company called Merck, which are known like Tata's. They are known for social responsibility, good governance. In 1970s and 80s, they developed one medicine called Metizan. And in 87, they made a corporate social responsibility. They started in the form of committed. They made themselves committed to the people that we have to eliminate this river blindness and elephantiasis, these two diseases which they could eliminate with their medicine. And over the years, they were able to eliminate this in four countries of Americas: Colombia, Ecuador, Guatemala, and Mexico. And elephantiasis they were able to remove from 2 countries of Africa and in Yemen. So this was a global impact which they could have with their commitment for the society. Now this chart shows, left hand side we have Enron. From $90 they went to $0.26, very sharp, and then it was delisted from the Sensex. It was delisted from market. And on the right hand side we have got that pharmaceutical company Merck. They are gradually they have seen ups and downs little bit, but steadily they are moving up. So this is how with ethical practices you will have sustainability, and without ethical practices you can have a big farm. So if we are a profitable organization, we have to see that everybody gets profit. The profit should not be earned only by a few and the other people suffer. And we have to balance between transparency. We have to see that there is transparency so that there is reputation is always maintained. And environmental cost also we have to see, because now environment is at stake. We are seeing global warming, floods, and all these things happening. Air quality is so poor. Our rivers are poor, having poor water. So we have to maintain environment also. And data privacy and marketing. This is now one of the big thing which is coming up when AI has come up, and here we have to see that statistics is not biased. But whenever we are having all these issues, still we have got some people which we call fence sitters. We organize all these programs for awareness programs for the fence sitter people, so that they remain ethical and they are not moving out of the fence and doing any fraud. Because most of the people are fence sitters. There are very few people. There will obviously be very few people, some people who will always, which you cannot teach anything. And there will be some people who will be having strong ethics and you are not required to teach them. But majority is fence sitters, and we have to see that they remain under control. Because this is a fraud triangle which says that any person will be going for a fraud or some unethical practice because of some pressure or motivation, like he will, maybe because of family pressure, or maybe the salary is very poor and family is saying that you bring this, you bring that, you see other people, your friends are also earning, why you don't earn? And then he gets some opportunity. Opportunity means because of our poor policies, our poor rules and systems. Our monitoring system is poor. Then we'll get some opportunity. And When there is pressure and he gets some opportunity, then he will try to rationalize. Yes, there is no worry. My friends are also doing. Why should I be left alone? So we have to see that our systems are very strong. Our policies are laid down well. Our monitoring system is good so that they don't get such opportunity, and we take care of our people. Their salaries are more or less good. In the private sector, we have seen that the salaries may be very poor or very high. In the government system, at least, we don't have much difference. And we have to keep them, we have to go on teaching them that don't try to rationalize in this way. Think of your culture, think of the problems which will happen because of unethical practices. And then we conclude like this. Obviously, ethics is required for sustainability of any organization. And in the short term, somebody may succeed with unethical practices, but not in the long run. It's not only for an individual or for the organization, but for the nation also. A nation with strong culture and only will sustain. And I would say at the end that road to Viksit Bharat is built only with ethics. Without ethics, our all money investment will going into drain. So we have to have good ethics, because as Heraclitus had told that character is destiny. Let's build good character. If we will have good character, we will have good destiny. We will have good future, and we will have Viksit Bharat. I will end with one small video which will speak for itself. Just see, and you will just find yourself that what you should do, what you should not do. Oh, it's not coming here. Maybe that is to be.
extended. Duplicate.
See just how he is getting motivated to when he's alone, he's trying to, he's having this motivation. So we have to see that with an ethical practice, the result is not so good. So we will fall like this person and like Enron. So let's always remain ethical and let's always and realize our vision of Viksit Bharat. Thank you.
If you were born between 1980 and 2000, तो आप मैक्स लाइफ लाया है एक सॉलिड
Thank you, sir, for such a thoughtful and interesting presentation. Now, Sri Partho Dhara, part-time vigilance officer, Variable Energy Cyclotron Center, and our guest of honor for today's event, will address the audience.
এই যে পাঠ তো এটাই তো কপি করে নিয়ে আমাদের এখানে অসুবিধা হচ্ছে স্যার এখানে রাখবে মানে এর থেকে হলে ডিস্টার্বটা কম শেয়ার করাই আছে
Good afternoon, everybody. Director ISI,
Professor Sanghamitra Bandyopadhyay, PT Professor, CBO, ISI, our chief guest, and all our esteemed colleagues in ISI. So let me very briefly, I thought I will only talk to you, but it is better to have a presentation so that we can have some points listed out. So on this occasion of Vigilance Awareness Week, I want to thank SAP for this setting up the stage with some very elaborate thing about what is the current situation in India. So I would like to have some structure. I mean, what is the structure of vigilance that we are following? So this part already covered by SAS, so I am not going to this. Estimated around 2% GDP will lose because of this corruption. So what we have here at the top, we have the Central Vigilance Commission (CVC), and the CVC is responsible. It is the apex governmental body responsible in India, responsible for the all promoting integrity, transparency, and accountability in country's public administration. So, and it was established long back in 1964 as a recommendation of Santana Committee. So, to prevent the corruption. So, from that 1964 and today is 2025. It's a long journey, but problem is that we are still in the in transparency ranking. We are 96 among 180 world. So, we are at the middle of the ladder. So we have to have a lot of scope to improve. And how CVC does, the CVC, it has its own jurisdiction, and also it has created in each ministry and department one post for CVO, which is independent role. So in any organization, there is two important things. One is the vigilance officer or CVO, chief vigilance officer, and there is a disciplinary authority. So DA and CVO, these two roles are very important in this structure. So vigilance actually for jurisdiction, if we consider for vigilance matter, the CVO has only the jurisdiction over the institution, and also depending on the officer and their ranking, so they cannot say gazetted officers or the cadres, central cadres, the IAS and IPS, these are the handled by the CVO. So in your department, there is some clear jurisdiction defined, which cases you can handle, which you cannot. So you have to pass it to the higher thing. I don't have any jurisdiction over the private individuals, over other government institutes, or any state government. If you are central government, you don't have any jurisdiction over the state government organizations. And the complaints, that's for this jurisdiction only should be handled, because it is very essential. Sometimes what we do, if we take some action and if we investigate on some matter which is not under our jurisdiction, then everything goes null and void. So we should be very careful about that. When we are talking about vigilance, we first thing we have to decide if there is a vigilance angle or not. So that is the main thing. So there are some points which have a very obvious vigilance angle, like demanding and accepting gratification or other than legal remuneration in respect of official act, or using his or her influence on any official matter. Obtaining valuable things, there is no definition of what is the Marxist valuable means. So obtaining valuable things without consideration or with inadequate consideration from a person with whom he has the official dealing, or even the subordinate has official dealing, or maybe in future they will have official dealing. And obtaining himself or herself or any other person any valuable things or any advantage in corrupt means or illegal practices. So these are the obvious vigilance angle. Possession of assets disproportionate to his known source of income, and cases of misappropriation, forgery, cheating, or this criminal type of offense. These are the clear vigilance. Another part of vigilance angle is that there are irregularities, but which we have to weigh against the circumstances. So, like gross willful negligence, recklessness in decision making, blatant violation of system and procedures, excessive discretion in excess, failure to keep the controlling of authority informed, or any undue or unjustified delay. So, each of these things can have a vigilance angle, provided we have to think about the circumstances, whether that it was for bona fide or a mala fide intent. So that is the main reason to identify these vigilance angles. And we have to also take care of the source of complaint. So there are various source of complaints can come from various sources. So one is that from CBC directly they send the vigilance queries, and there can be spot or surprise inspections. There can be departmental inspection and audit, stock verification, scrutiny about annual property returns. That is very important to find out disproportionate assets or for the individuals. Audit paras, any audit recommendations, parliamentary committee reports or house of proceedings, any media reports on corrupt practices or individual complaints. This part will highlight because when we find something, we are getting some corruption in a trap in some we have some information about some corruption, how do we launch a complaint? Then source of information orally received, we have to write it down because everything when in vigilance thing, everything should be written down. So it is in the document phase, it should be signed by the complainant, then only we can take actions. So that is very important. Or sometimes it is intelligence bureaus or CBI gives us the input. So when there is a vigilance complaint, the important thing is that the complaint can be lodged for specific facts or matter related to the corruption. And the name and the personal details is very important. So if you don't have the name and personal details, it becomes an anonymous complaint. And by the guidelines for CBC, we have to file it immediately. You don't have to take any action if it's completely anonymous. So detail of the personal details should be there, and we have to verify the personal detail by sending a post to that person to verify that complaint is genuine or not. Then only we can take actions. And another important thing about vigilance is that there should not be any malicious, vexatious, frivolous, pseudonymous, anonymous, or biased, or based on some personal grievance. These matters are most common in vigilance cases. So we get those things that, as per the guidelines, we don't have to take any action. So, and complaint received through email should also be verified and maybe taken in a written form. So after the, and another thing is that when the complaint is not under the severe jurisdiction, so we have to forward it to the proper authority. And also some cases, administrative matter, sexual harassment case, these are not in vigilance purview, so they should be forwarded to the disciplinary authority, appropriate authorities. Another thing is this whistleblower mechanism. So in vigilance, there is a PIDPI Act 2004. So under this act, the complainant can keep their identity hidden. So if you are complaining against some very powerful person, somebody may want their identity to be hidden. So that there is a provision in vigilance complaint, but this PDPI Act is only handled by the CBC. CBC is the only authorized organization to handle this PDPI. This is what I would like to share that according to 2024 data by CBC, they have received total complaint of 30,000. And anonymous complaint, pseudonymous complaint, which has to file, no action to be taken, was around 1,481. Vague, unverifiable complaint, these are 10,000. And these officials, which is not under CBC jurisdiction or grievance type of complaint, this is 16,000. So you can see the most of the complaint, the 99% of the complaints are of this type. No action has to be taken. Only 276 complaints, proper investigation was done. So only 1%. So that is the matter for every unit. So most of the complaints are not, you cannot investigate on the complaint because this is not very specific, but there are technical problems. Now this is very important. The purpose of vigilance to enhance the managerial efficiency and effectiveness of the organization, not the other way around. So vigilance officer cannot sit only to stop you working for your organization. The important thing is that the disciplinary authority is because vigilance is separate, they are independent. So they can have their views, they can have their investigation, but disciplinary authority is the sole, responsible to take the action. So vigilance officer can have recommendation for some penalty, but penalty is taken by this disciplinary authority. So it is very important that disciplinary authority should have full confidence in whatever has been happened so that he or she can qualify it as a bona fide. So when we deal with this type of cases, the most disciplinary authority should judge that whether a person of common prudence working within the ambit of the prescribed rules and regulations and instruction, would have taken the decision in the prevailing circumstances in the commercial operational interest of the organization. If it is yes, then you can have vigilance complaint, but municipal authority can take, I mean, if they are not forced to take any penalty. Also, there is any business loss, monetary loss, that is not directly in the business angle. So loss can happen in business, but that does not necessarily put you in the business unless until you have taken some profit out of it. So if there is no malicious thing, then there is no business. So vigilance in the sense that what we think or we recommend that whenever there is a complaint, you take action. There is nothing wrong in taking a vigilance actor or doing the investigation. Even if a vigilance officer can give the his or her view on this matter and recommend for some penalty. But it is a disciplinary authority who should have enough confidence on that matter that whether to put the penalty on or not. So under these vigilance activities, three types of important things are we have to do. One is the preventive vigilance, and is the preventative vigilance, and is the surveillance and detection. So rules and regulations are important because that saves us. Because we don't only have to be honest, we have to show the honesty. That is the main thing is that. So whatever we do, we should have we have somewhere to prove it. So documentation is very important. Minutes of the meetings or whatever purchase we are doing, their technical committee reports, financial committee reports, all these things are very important when we are judging on cases. So rules and procedures should be defined. Identification of sensitive spots. So by Santanan committee, they recommend that only the official with high integrity should be put in the sensitive spots. So how to find this high integrity person? Because this is a culture. I mean, the mentor has a role to play from very early age. We have to give them the environment that their high integrity is rewarded. So that way we can have individuals identified within the organization. Those can be put on these sensitive places. Always keep the minutes or put the committee, proper committee to deal with this type of matters. Then surprise regular inspection and conduct rule violation. So those things, when we violate the conduct rules, there is a disciplinary proceeding pending. So we have to be very strict on that. Then punitive vigilance, when the vigilance case is, it is taken up and investigation is done, then we have to give the punishment so that it deters the others to do the same type of wrongful things. And also to minimize the malpractices or misconduct, we have to be surveillance. The monitoring thing is very important. And CT inspection, the chief technical engineer. I don't know whether here in ISI you do this thing or not. We have some random, this CT inspection is for the works file, high-level works file. They do very detailed examination of the file. Everything is followed or not, whatever material we receive, that it is good quality or not. So randomly they take one or two and they do those type of things. These are some good input about improvement of our system. And so what inquiry we can take, mainly when we are getting some input from somewhere, media or something. So we can also do something of ours. And disposal of vigilance, it is important that when the vigilance complaint is received, it is properly disposed. Because each vigilance complaint should have a logical disposal. Otherwise, it should not be hanged. I mean, there is a very strict guidelines that within 1 month, we have to take the first response. I mean, we have to take a decision whether it is a vigilance angle or not. And if there is inquiry, within 3 months, we have to complete the inquiry. So this is very strict. So we have to file it without, or say there are some category of complaint, anonymous complaints, we can file it directly. So we have to file it, or we have to do the investigation. Then we find nothing is there, so we can file it. Or we can forward it to the CBI or other issue if there is something without, then for further action. Most of the cases, what happens, if it is a grievance of administrative, no administrative or procedural things can come under vigilance, like promotion norms, transfer norm policies. These are not vigilance against. If there is some complaint about that, administration, they should handle this thing. So we have to, but vigilance officer has a duty to forward it within the time to the proper authority to take the action. If something is not in our jurisdiction, so that is also to be forwarded. So no vigilance can take forward it to the administration for appropriate action. Take up the detailed investigation if something is found by the Department of Vigilance, and complaint will be treated as disposed of either on issue of the charge sheet. If something is found, a charge sheet is issued, then only it is disposed, or on the final decision is taken. There's nothing is done. We can close or drop the file. So each angle there is some format. CV1 format is there. So when you receive a complaint, that format should be filled up, and we have to dispose that complaint. So that we have to very meticulously maintain. So in summary, we can say that awareness, we have a role to play. As we are the government servant, we should be vigilant about our environment. If something is noticeable, then we should launch a complaint. And also the public also can have same thing, launch complaint against us. So awareness about how to put a vigilant complaint in proper form is very essential, and how it is handled. So the awareness about vigilance procedure is essential to fight the corruption. High standard of integrity probity is to be maintained by all officers. This is our contractual requirement. Investigation have to be concluded within the time limit. This is very essential now. Generally in 3 months, or you have to ask for extension, that is generally given. And systematic improvement of the office procedure. Office procedure saves the office, it makes the environment workable. So we have to define the office procedure, more automation, so that helps a lot. Documentation are very, because of this audit para, everything comes, they see only the documents, only the minutes of the meetings, or all these work files. So these documents should be very carefully taken, and the proper competent authority approval on cases. If there is any deviation, take approval. So that helps a lot. Transparency, efficiency, accountability, this should be ensured for all the government organizations through this vigilance awareness. So in this occasion, we like to congratulate you to complete this vigilance awareness week, and thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, sir, for such an informative presentation. We will now go straight to the prize distribution ceremony. I will request Professor Priti Parashar to come and announce the name of the winners.
The Institute had organized an online essay writing competition on the theme of the Vigilance Awareness Week, that is, Vigilance, Our Shared Responsibility. I thank all the participants, and I'm happy to announce the winners. The first prize goes to Shri Abhishek Roy, Office Assistant A from here, the headquarters. So I request Shri Singh, if you can just hand over the certificate to Mr. Roy. नहीं उनको बोला नहीं Okay, the second prize goes to Shrimati Khushbu Singh, Office Assistant A. She is from Delhi Center and couldn't be present here today. So we'll post her certificate. Okay. The third winner is Shri Avik Kumar Das, Associate Scientist A, Library Division from the headquarters itself. Heartiest congratulations to, yeah, please take a seat. Heartiest congratulations to all the winners. You will receive the prize money in your accounts directly. Okay, and I also appreciate the efforts of an anonymous colleague who helped in evaluating these essay entries. Also, there was a poster competition, poster making competition on the same theme, and the certificate of participation goes to Shri Kanishk Bhuradia, He is a BSDS second year student from Delhi Center. So his certificate will also be posted. I also take this opportunity to thank Shri Shubhrajyoti Das and Shri Arpan Biswas and Ms. Shalini and also Shri Mari for helping in the organization of this event. Thank you very much.
That's what I was also when you accepted my anonymous recommendation.
Now, I will request Sri Ravindra Kumar, Chief Executive Administration and Finance of ISI, to present the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon. Respected Director, Professor Bandhu Padhaya, Deputy Director, Professor Mukherjee, Part-time Chief Vigilance Officer, Professor Parasat, Chief Guest, Sri Harsimran Singh, Guest of Honor, Sri Partha Dhara, dear colleagues and participants. On behalf of this institute, it is my pleasure to propose a vote of thanks at the conclusion of this meaningful event. I would like to express my sincere appreciation to Professor Parasar, the part-time Chief Vigilance Officer, for leading an observance of Vigilance Awareness Week. As we continue in our role, it is our primary duty to add ethics and moral values into our daily conduct. By doing so, we become more responsible and accountable, not only to ourselves, but also to the larger interests of the Institute. It is believed that focused approach to preventive vigilance will foster transparent and accountable system that is crucial for the long-term prosperity of our institute. I would also like to extend my heartfelt thanks to all dignitaries, distinguished guests, and participants who actively engaged in the various activities conducted during this week. Your support and participation have been invaluable, and your presence has greatly contributed to the success of this event. Once again, I express my gratitude to everyone involved in making this Vigilance Awareness Week a meaningful and impactful occasion. Thank you.
With this, we have come to the conclusion of the program. Please rise for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंधु गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तब शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मांगे तब जय गाथा जनगण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे